dial of someone who's answering an instrument.
And the last of these Dr. Curry referred to was the PCL-5. Do you agree with her criticisms of your administration and interpretation of that?
No, so the PCL-5 is a checklist of symptoms of PTSD. It is, as she said, it is a face valid instrument since it's very clear about how you can endorse this. But what the person has to do is say, how disturbed am I by these symptoms? And when you have face valid measures with these other measures that have the built-in sort of ability scales, you're sort of controlling for that response bias error. You're controlling for that individual to sort of over-exaggerate. But then what you do with that test, because this is, we're not just administering them like robots, is you go and you do a clinical assessment. And that's what I did. I took what she wrote.
Oh shoot, I forgot to change my title.
In January of 2021, and I did a clinical assessment of those symptoms to see if they meet criteria for PTSD. That is something we do clinically, and I do in my office all the time.
Bruh.
And yes, she did meet PTSD from that in January 2021.
Thank you. Now, Dr. Curry said you misinterpreted her test results. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. I agree that I agree that I interpreted and that she misinterpreted.
Okay. And please explain.
Yes. So I said that before. My stance on the MMPI and how she interpreted it is, I believe, wrong, and I think
Objection, Your Honor. That's the issue we just addressed.
I don't do you want to
What was that? We'll put that because she's a gold digger.
Now, Dr. Hughes, Dr. Curry also testified that a victim of PTSD has to effectively be prone and unable to function at all. Would you agree with that?
Objection, misstates the evidence.
She said they couldn't hike, they couldn't move, they couldn't function in any shape, way, shape, or form.
No, that is not.
Got it.
That is often actually a myth and misconception about individuals who are struggling with PTSD or trauma-based disorders, and often fall to answer that and speak to that. People who are struggling with trauma and PTSD are very strong,
This girl
courageous
reminds me.
people, even though
Hold on.
they're struggling. They get up.
Make sure I'm not dropping something. This girl reminds me of the character from
So I often talk about it as sort of walking around with a
not Toy Story.
just sort of
Twisted Metal 4.
that button's going to press play and the trauma's going to start activating in their head, and then they're going to be having to think about it.
She looks like one of the characters from Twisted Metal 4.
Reactions until they can find a way to hit that pause and shut it off again. So they still have, impairments in other ways, but they go about their lives. They're not, totally debilitated. If you have someone in that high range, the highest score that
Okay.
on the CAPS, Ms. Heard had a 28. If you have someone in the higher range,
But she lied.
I've seen people who are, severely disabled because of it, but that's not the norm of people who have this moderate PTSD.
And did you find functional impairment with Amber?
She lied, dude. Come on.
Now, Dr. Curry also said that it is not within the scope of a psychologist to evaluate domestic violence. Do you agree
Is
with
this the
that?
lady that gave her all the
Of course,
tests?
I don't agree with that.
All the wrong ones.
For a living, day in, day out, for 25 years. We are specifically trained.
Dude, she gave her like a
understand
cheat sheet.
profound impacts that
And that's why
have
she
on
scored so high.
lives. That's what we do in the trauma division of the
She
American
cheated.
Psychological Association. We disseminate that knowledge. And domestic violence is one of those profound traumas. Domestic violence is part of state licensing boards, that you can't get licensed in some states unless you take training on domestic violence. You can't renew your license unless you get training on domestic violence. So people who have, specialized training in this area, it is, beholden upon them to accurately assess for intimate partner violence and sexual violence. And it's more important to assess for this sort of scientific understanding of what domestic violence is. So you have to assess for the physical violence, the psychological violence, the surveillance, the economic, the emotional abuse, and the sexual That is not gratuitous. That is
Objection.
understanding.
Narrative.
Bro, this girl just goes off.
Now, Dr. Curry suggests
I mean,
that
it's not bad, but
the determination just based on personal
we're on a time crunch here.
just on checklists and a couple of tests that you missed.
Oh, it's hot, dude. I should take off my freaking shirt.
As I stated to you, over 29 hours and 12 psychological tests and reviewing a slew of documents in this case, most importantly, therapy records and interviews, collateral interviews with therapists, using all that data. That is what a solid forensic methodological exam looks like. And then I made my conclusions based on my clinical education, knowledge, and training to come up with a professional expert opinion.
And just to remind, to make sure we're reminded here, you were qualified in this court, in this case,
No.
as an expert in forensic psychology and specifically in
Is she?
domestic violence.
I don't
and,
think she is.
uh,
Dude, there's so many people who are unqualified.
And in violence, correct? Intimate, and in trauma, correct?
But I believe
Objection,
it-
Your Honor, misstates the record.
Would you want to ask the question again?
She doesn't remember the question. She didn't remember it the first time.
You were qualified.
Dude, it's freaking hot. I should have just.
You were qualified as an expert in
I'm too lazy to
forensic
take it off now.
psychology with a specialty in domestic violence and in trauma, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And that was in this case.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, do you still hold the same opinions you did that you gave the jury earlier?
Yes, I do.
And do you still hold them within a reasonable degree
Where's
of
Amba?
psychological probability and certainty?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
All right, cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
Where the heck is Amba? Oh, she's taking a turd. Where is she? She's not there. Is she taking a turd? Am I blind? No, she's like right here. Or like right here, isn't she? Oh, here we go. It's gonna take another 2 hours. I'm impatient. I gotta learn to be patient. It's a horrible trait. Alright, give it to me. What'd you come up with? Blow it up. Blow it up. Blow it up, I'm ready.
Good morning, Dr. Hughes.
Good morning, Mr. Dennison.
Good morning, dog.
The last time you were here,
Dennison, if we change that D into a P.
testified, you diagnosed Ms. Heard with PTSD before you gave
Wait, it
the
was this
gold
girl.
standard CAPS 5 test.
That's correct.
Dude, you're bad at your job.
That
I think
diagnosis
it's just different
is actually
standards
reflected
wherever they're
in the
from.
first of the disclosure.
Bro, it's freaking hot, man.
I believe the first disclosure was February 2020.
I'm dehydrated.
And at that point, I had done
Help me.
11 psychological tests. That's correct.
And
That was 12.
your disclosure reads, Ms. Heard's responses on the PCL-5 support a DSM-5 diagnosis of post-traumatic stress disorder with an etiology of intimate partner violence.
I still don't know what that word means. I should have looked it up.
Remember writing that?
That's
Id-
correct.
Etiology?
Okay. You just testified.
I said that yesterday.
You need to read the manual.
I forgot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we put up 1311 as demonstrative?
As a what? Demonstrative? Demonstrative? Wow, I've never heard it like that before. Demonstrative? Caramel? Wait, how's it?
You want to leave?
Almond? 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 Caramel. Wait, how do you say that one again? Caramel? I don't remember. I haven't heard nobody say it in forever. Come on, I'm eager. Don't be laughing together. You're going against each other. Wait. Oh, never mind. I thought it was the other guy. It's that Rotten Bum guy or whatever his name is. I swear his name was Rotten Bum. And it's Born. But I thought I heard Johnny say Rotten Bum. And I was like, oh, that's his name?
They're getting the right one.
Yeah, we
Johnny be throwing shade though.
Let's use 13.
So that's why I was like, that's not his name.
Right? And that,
That can't be his name. What are the odds?
any objection to that demonstrative?
This girl's over here turning, and then we got a motherfucker on the side named Rotten
Dr.
Bum.
Hughes,
Huh.
do you recognize what the National Center
What it is?
What the what?
Yes, I do.
and they publish the PTSD checklist for DSM-5,
That's correct.
that what we've been calling the PCL-5.
Correct.
All right. And are you familiar with the document that's on your screen?
Yes.
I thought it was PCI.
What is it?
Did they change it?
It's
Oh, no,
the
it's
instruction manual to
DM5.
how to administer the PCL-5.
PCI, wasn't it?
I'd like to move for the admission. of
It's like 6
13-12.
years ago, though.
Any objection on 1312?
They update this thing every year,
Right, 1312
I
and
think. Or every 2 years.
Can we go to the second page? Can we blow up
Yeah, blow
this
that motherfucker
paragraph
up.
on the right?
Why are they even challenging? Everybody has said that this girl sucked at her job.
PCL-5
She did it incorrectly.
is a slow diagnostic tool.
Why-
When considering a diagnosis, the clinician will still need to use clinical interviewing skills and a recommended structured interview, e.g., the CAPS-5, to determine a diagnosis. Correct? That's what the manual says.
Right, and this manual
Okay.
also says that this is a screening instrument, so when you do the clinical interview, you absolutely can determine diagnosis
So the
after
answer is
somebody
yes. The manual says
still
the
need to use
PCL-5
clinical interviewing skills, which I use.
Let me finish my question. The PCL-5 should not be used as a standalone diagnostic tool, and they recommend using the CAPS-5 to determine a diagnosis.
Yeah, she
Correct?
totally missed
It
out
does say that,
the
yes.
Cap 5
And
thing.
you made your diagnosis before you did the CAPS-5.
I made my diagnosis doing clinical interviewing and 11 other psychological tests that supported diagnosis.
It's just
of
yes or no.
PTSD and symptomatology
It's just yes or no.
PTSD.
It's just. Can you hear me?
You said that we should read the manual, but you
Can-
also
can you hear me?
that we need to read the directions on these tests.
Sure.
Okay.
Bro, this girl's petty, man. Like, you come to these places like this, shouldn't be on your like best behavior. Like, why are you so? I get it's a battle, but it's not like a real battle, you know. Like, you don't have to be on your toes about everything. It's just easier, yes or no. Why do people get so defensive about stuff? Like, you were trying to help out the situation, and like people are like, oh,
any objection to
I didn't do it. I did do it. I did. If you're getting defensive about it, that means you sucked at it, or you did something wrong, or like, why are you? If you did it perfectly or the way it should be, or anything like that, you should have no issue about it. So why are you so snappy and like, oh, you're judging me at my job. I'm gonna open an OnlyFans. I just shut up. If you have nothing, like, just
Dr. P,
relax, bruh.
recognize
It goes by
the,
faster.
Demonstrative that's in front of you.
Yes, but I didn't put the red lines on that.
No, I didn't.
Yes, I know.
Okay. So, this, what do you recognize this as?
I recognize that we previously discussed this, and I told you that I oriented Ms. Hurd to a different time frame because she was already out of the relationship.
Okay, maybe we should back it up a little. This is the CTS 2
This girl didn't graduate?
administered as part of this battery of tests that you indicate you did in relationship to your
She didn't graduate?
Right, this is the conflict tactic scale too.
And you'll agree with me.
She has good vocabulary.
This
Oh, she reads, right?
specifically asks, in front of every single question, how often did this happen in the past year?
Correct, and
Ugh.
I oriented the
And you
individual to not limit herself to the
Correct.
last year to get an accurate assessment of the violence and abuse that she experienced in the relationship.
Objection, Your Honor, move to strike.
I'm gonna strike the last part of the answer. I'm gonna strike the last part of the answer. Thank you. Next question.
Yep. And you know that at the time
I don't even know what happened.
that you gave this test,
I couldn't hear.
she had been away from Mr. Depp for far longer than a year, correct?
Which is why I oriented her to a different
Yes or no,
time
ma'am?
frame in answering the questions.
Doctor, yes or no?
Of course,
Okay, you knew she was gone for more than...
of course.
All right. Let's look at another one.
Dude, just make it harder for everyone. Well, she's heated, dude. Look at her. She's like, "My mom, this is
Talking about
vodka?
the danger assessment test.
That's correct.
Give my vodka.
Okay, this is 13, minus 1310.
Thank you.
Any objection to 1310? As demonstrative? Okay.
Say yes.
Dr. Hughes, this is a blank form. but this
Bro,
is
what
the
is this?
assessment test that you also gave to Ms. Hurd, correct?
I didn't give it to her, I filled it out based on the data.
What
that
the
was
heck
provided.
is this?
Oh, so you asked her the questions and then you filled it in.
It was somewhat collaborative.
Okay.
Huh?
Can we
Put
blow
this
up
back here.
the second full paragraph?
Blow it up. Why did it just like appeared? It wasn't there
Says,
before, I
"Using
swear.
the calendar, please mark the approximate dates during the past year when you were abused by your partner or ex-partner." You didn't use any calendar.
Oh,
did you?
dude, my ear.
I did not use a calendar because
hell was
she
that?
already out of the relationship. As I said, these are stacked risk factors, so they don't change. So I oriented her to the time of the relationship.
Ma'am, it's fair to say that this examination that you gave specifically indicates that you were supposed to look over the past year, and you.
That's
not the
one,
language.
no, that's one administration. People use this instrument for if you're in an acute situation in a relationship, trying to get a better assessment of the current behaviors. We can use it retrospectively, like I just stated, and in the homicides and looking back about what are the serious risk factors that were in this
I
relationship.
didn't ask you about anything other than note the instructions.
This girl,
for
man.
This test to the previous year.
She's gonna say
Nope, ask
a
you
whole
about the
sentence.
instructions.
But I'm telling you how the test is administered in clinical practice and in forensic practice.
And opposing counsel can come up and ask questions about it. I'm asking you about the instructions. And the instructions say, look over the past year. And,
Yeah, on this, yes, that it says that.
and you had actual knowledge when you gave the test that Mr. Depp was gone way more than a year before this test.
That is correct.
Dude, you already said that.
All right, let's look at more instructions.
Why did you repeat it? She answered.
Can we look at 1247, which is already in evidence?
Like, even without the she said yes without the sentences earlier. She stopped drinking water.
Dr. Hughes, do you recognize this one?
She takes like
Yes.
big gulps.
This is the, what everybody calls the cat stop.
Correct.
She real mad.
Okay. Let's blow up the instructions.
Blow that mother. Blow that mother. Oh, she got them
Administration and scoring of the CAPS 5 are
cam
essential to
glasses.
producing reliable and valid scores and diagnostic decisions. Correct?
Correct.
And you know you have to do this in a standardized way because it is the first instruction, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
We go to the next page.
Correct.
One more.
Oh,
Oh, wait,
right, yeah.
that's good.
For sure.
This is a page on scoring, and we talked about this last time.
Yes.
You score these tests by frequency and intensity.
Correct.
And you'll remember that in every single instance that you were asked to fill in the blank about frequency, you failed to do so, correct?
That's not correct.
Oh, you filled in any blank on this form with respect to frequency?
I filled in the frequency on the side of the caps where I am actually scoring the caps.
No, I asked
Where
you
is-
whether you filled in a single blank on this form with respect to frequency. Is the answer to that yes or no?
I don't know what you mean, a single blank.
All right, let's page.
Bro, it shows.
Keep going. All right, we'll stay at this page for a second. This is the very first box you're asked to fill in as to.
She's probably gonna say she still doesn't know.
Right? What happened?
Can you do that though? Like it's obvious.
We talked about this before, Mr. Dennison. I had 88 pages of notes of what happened. It would have been redundant to put it there.
You know that you are obligated to produce this test in a way that other people can meaningfully review it. Yes?
The people in
Oh.
this case who are meaningfully reviewing them have
I can't be on my
88
elbow. I have
pages
a
of notes.
freaking scab there.
You chose to put absolutely
Man, this girl
nothing
fights
in
everything.
the box, the standardized box.
Just say yes or no, man.
You don't have to put it in the box if you have it somewhere else. It's not a,
Because this
if
is
it's
not a
not a,
standardized test.
well, if it's not a research instrument that is used for research, if you're using it for a clinical diagnostic purpose, no, you don't. If you have that data elsewhere.
Okay, let's go another page or six.
Blow it up. Oh.
Let's go another one.
Ooh.
Let's look at item 4B4.
Damn.
I
Wow.
asked you to fill in the blank about frequency. And there's a blank in many of these items that asks number of times. You didn't fill a single one of them in. did you?
I can't even. I can't understand her writing.
On the right side of the instrument where I am scoring it.
And that is the way that you believe that you follow the instructions of a standardized test.
Yes, correct.
No further questions.
Very good.
Bruh. That went bad, actually, for her. That just looks bad.
Static risk factors are risk factors that don't change. Maybe if you smoke cigarettes, you may have a risk of lung cancer, right? That's a factor that doesn't change. You can look forward if someone's smoking, you can look past if someone's smoking. So these lethality risk factors are present whether you're evaluating them in the last year or 5 years ago.
And when you're trying to assess for trauma related to the interpersonal violence that we discussed, why is it important to get
My
the
face
timeframe
hurts.
in which the relationship was in existence?
Well, you want to see the amount of trauma that the person experienced. The longer that they're in a relationship, you have more successive trauma. And one of the things that we know from the research is more trauma is not better. So the more successive traumas that you have, the greater likelihood that somebody's going to have psychological consequences and symptomatology as a result.
And therefore you need to get it within the relationship.
Objection leading.
What?
And
So the
how
less.
does that relate to needing to get the time frame in the relationship?
Well, you need to understand when you're trying to evaluate the impact of something, you want to have to
Yeah, you have to
understand
be
what happened to
on
the
it.
person, and that's sort of the core and the basis of
That's-
trauma-informed
that's like
care and
asking the
trauma
person,
diagnosis. You
how
have to
high are you
understand
when they just
the
smoked
traumatic
yesterday? Like,
event and how it transpired and how it played out for that individual so that you can better assess for the come from.
You said you had 88 pages of notes. What were in your 88? And without going into the specifics, can you just describe what was included in the 88 pages of notes?
In the 88 pages were many of the documented incidents of intimate trauma.
Objection, Your Honor.
She's just describing, that came up. He said you didn't fill those in the boxes. She said it was in my 88 pages. I'm just saying what was in your 88 pages. I'm not asking her to give each of the specific events. She can describe the summary of it.
Can we come up?
I mean, she kind of was though. Well, that's why he stopped her, because she was about to go in on the events. People are just kind of over the events right now, because, I mean, dude, it's already been said. They just want to get to the goodies, you know? I don't blame them either.
The
Like,
difference between clinical scoring and clinical evaluation and research evaluation with respect to the CAPS-5 and the other tests.
When
Objection, compound.
Sustain.
Your Honor, when it's compounded, because it might be confusing to the jury.
Good. Good. Sustain. Next question.
Okay. Can you explain to the jury what the difference is between
Just
clinical
break it.
scoring and evaluation on the test and research?
Objection, Your Honor, compound.
That
Overruled.
Sure, so the PCL.
she was
and
like,
the
just
CAPS
freaking
file
give me my
are used
answer.
in research, and when they're used in research, that means the document stands alone. They don't have 88 pages of notes to help understand the background of the trauma and what the person has experienced. And why those boxes may be relevant in research is because, you know, back in the day when I was a research assistant, I had to input that into the computer, and then they would maybe look at some of that data for the research study. So that becomes very important in research.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Hughes. You can have a
Thank
seat in
you.
the courtroom or you're free to go, okay?
Thank you very much.
All right,
She's
ladies
like,
and
give me the
gentlemen, let's go
out of
ahead
here,
and
dog.
take a recess. Sorry, a morning recess. Let's take our 15-minute recess. Do not discuss the case with anybody.
Damn, we have one more day,
Research,
right?
Okay.
I think we have one more day left. I don't want to. I would stand if I had long headphones, but I don't. That's pretty. Is this? This part's very boring, but
All right, well, we just come back at 11.
it is useful. What I'm still unclear of is the picture thing. I don't understand that part. Like, what the hell happened? Like they said, yeah, it's been altered with, and then they freaking called the other guy, and then he's like, oh, it could have been altered, but I mean, we don't know that. So it's like, so was it or not? Yeah. Yeah, what happened here? That's what I want to know. I'm gonna look at a recap though, cause like I've been kind of like skipping around. Like this, I don't remember seeing.
Are you familiar with the defendant in this matter, Amber Heard?
I don't think I saw it.
Yes, I am.
And how are you familiar with her?
I met her in 2000.
Did she say shiitake
Why were
mushrooms?
you at the airport? What happened when you met Ms. Heard in 2009?
Dude, it's hot. Jesus. Damn, she did this in public? Sober?
How would you describe the interaction between Ms. Heard and her travel companion?
This is.
Miss Heard was aggressive.
Never mind.
She had reached up around her arm and pulled her necklace off her, and then I observed her having it in, and she seemed to be not very steady on her feet. Her eyes were blurry and watery, and I could tell.
Oh, yeah, I
What
thought
was
so.
Miss Heard's travel
That's why I was like,
to be assaulted by Miss Heard?
I wonder who the girl was. She beat.
What did Miss Heard's traveling companion do?
Yeah.
Raised her hands in what appeared to be a defensive manner, and other than that, she was pretty stoic and didn't respond much. Her
Uh, t-
stature was 2 or 3 inches taller than Miss Heard, so she didn't really need to
Defend herself.
herself.
Freaking Amber, dog. She taking on giants.
How would you describe Miss Heard's demeanor when you stepped in between Miss Heard and her traveling companion?
She was somewhat dismissive. She just said, we're just having an argument. We're fine. Because I was asking if are you okay? What's going on? And she
Objection,
was-
hearsay.
Jesus. Freaking lady screamed in him. Objection!
If any injuries did you observe on Miss Heard's traveling companion?
She had abrasion on the side of her neck where the necklace was.
Oh my god, I got one too.
Pretty chain as
Wow. So okay, I didn't hear that. So there's another witness. Cause I was trying to figure that out too. Like these people get in fights and all that stuff, and they don't have no freaking witnesses. Of like the airplane one. Nobody said anything about the airplane one. Like there has to be someone who was there when Johnny was fighting with that assistant. Wait, that's not an assistant. That airline girl, whatever. Like where's all and then the Kelly Sue one. There was only one thing, but like there was like stories, like a whole segment missing. There was no mentioning of the. Amber said Johnny grabbed her wrist and then said that line he says, whatever, do you know how much pressure it takes to break a wrist? The other girl didn't even mention it at all. Or her friend, I don't remember which one it was. So I was like, okay, like if that was like that's a big deal. Why wouldn't she say anything about that? She mentioned everything else, but nothing about the she mentioned where she screamed at where Johnny screamed at her, and then the party just like went dead. Like, what are you doing? And then everybody thought it was a joke, but she never mentioned the grabbing. Who, like, why are these people here? I didn't understand. I was trying to listen to it yesterday, but like it was already that recess, and then they came out of nowhere, and I was like, it just sounded like they were begging for them to release. I don't know. I thought it was just TMZ trying to say, hey, can we release this? Or yeah, whatever. I don't know. But that was kind of random. I was like, what? Who is this guy? There was 2 dudes there, and I was like... And then everybody was praising him, though, because he was snapping back at... But this girl, Elaine, that psychologist that determined that all the tests were correct, and the diagnosis and everything, she sounded like she knew a lot to be non-certified. So it just looks kind of bad, but it's like me, like I'm qualified to train and I know a lot, but it's just because I don't have a certification underneath my belt that I can't. But dude, I know more than most, but it's just I haven't put the hours in, you know? It's kind of stupid, but it does look kind of weird, like you've been doing this for, at the same time, like you've been doing this thing for so long that why would I go take a test and pay, especially the freaking, it's a lot of money to get tested and certified. So like it does look bad or just a little off, like okay, you're non-certified, but like you're explaining to us what you can't do and what can do and what's best and what's not best, and she hit it, like she hit it pretty well. But yeah, that's kinda. Everyone last one trying to, no. I'm trying to see what else I can piece together. There's another witness. It's freaking, like I did not see this.
Mr. Knight, you are a pretty big fan of Johnny Depp, aren't you?
I am not. To be honest, throughout the evening,
Sorry, I just asked you one question.
Oh, I
didn't ask
apologize.
you the rest of that. You wanted to participate in this trial, didn't you?
I did not. I
You
was
knew-
asked by the attorney, and I wanted to. They asked me, and I said I'll be happy to come and tell the truth.
You knew this was on camera, that it was being broadcast to a lot of people, and you saw testimony, did you not, in this case, and you seized the moment and responded to the umbrella guy, the lead person of Mr. Depp's Twitters, did you not?
Objection, Your Honor. How do you know compound?
Mr. Umbrella Guy is the lead. The lead.
You know
what?
that he leads one of the most predominant pro-Depp Twitters out there.
I have no idea. I don't care or follow the Umbrella Guy.
In fact, you do.
How did he get there?
A Twitter called Johnny Depp fan, don't you?
Absolutely not.
You don't? That's your testimony under oath?
It is my testimony.
All right.
What is this?
The innkeepers that worked at Higgs before reached out to them and said some stuff wasn't true, and then they asked, is it okay if I give the attorneys your phone number? So the attorneys reached out to me
Okay, and when did the attorneys reach out?
May 3rd.
May 3rd. And you talked to the attorneys at that time?
Yeah.
Okay, and then have you seen any other parts of the trial?
No, she instructed me not to watch anything in private, regardless of whether it's truthful or not, so I've been
Since May
keeping
3rd.
off the internet used to be like on social media, so I just don't watch any of that.
All right. And questions, Mr. Critter?
So, Mr.
Oh, the
Knight,
trailer.
contacted by an attorney for Mr. Depp on May 3rd?
Yes.
Okay. And you said it was Carolyn?
Geraldine.
Geraldine. Oh, Yerlin, I got it. Okay. And
I
what,
think it's pronounced Geraldine.
okay, can you tell us the conversation you had with her at that time?
Yeah, she just asked me my recollection.
Wait, that's a girl's name?
And I told her, and she said, okay, would you mind
Geraldine's a
clarifying?
pretty name.
I said, sure.
It's a pretty, like,
She said,
anything Lynn is
okay,
pretty.
well then, we're not sure if we're going to call you or not, but just in case, please don't watch anything having to do with the case. And I said, I will do.
Aight.
Now, how is it that, to your best knowledge, how is it that Geraldine was able to get hold of you? How did she know that you knew something?
So, like I said, two of my innkeepers, my innkeeper and my manager, had reached out to her team, I think through email, and
I don't-
that's how I found the tweet that I had replied to.
The umbrella man, innkeepers, to know that you were working that night.
Geraldine.
To him is
May I
very
please finish
important.
stating my objection, Your Honor?
Go ahead, yes, sir.
The objection is that it's beyond the scope of the voir dire.
All right, sir, if you could have a seat.
I just want to know what he saw, or like, yeah, whatever. Oh, dude, these
Just
freaking.
for my sake, how long did you own the trailer palace?
So 10 years of us being open, 11 years total.
And what was the Hicksville Trailer Palace?
So it started out as a artist retreat. I was a filmmaker at the time and wanted a place to get away and work on film projects outside of Los Angeles. I also put in a report, USPS. So Mr. Depp got lost, so his security guard who arrived early asked me if I could go fetch them because he had an old car that didn't really fare on the dirt roads out there, which are pretty horrible. So I went out and made sure that they got themselves and the car back to Hicksville safely.
Do you remember approximately at what time that was?
It was 3 to 4 in the afternoon.
What was Mr. Depp's demeanor when they first arrived?
At
Drunk.
Trailer Palace, he was super excited about the place, really complimentary. Just had a lot of questions and
My mind.
just seemed like he was in a really great mood.
And how about Miss Heard's demeanor? Anything stick out?
She was pretty quiet. She kind of.
You know, she didn't want to
say
be
that
there.
much when I was giving them the tour of the grounds and the trailer.
And was anyone else with Mr. Depp and Miss Heard when they first arrived?
There was people that were arriving throughout the afternoon, so there was I think 10 to 12 people total ended up staying. The security guard had gotten there earlier and just in that area. A song or two around the campfire.
All right, we're getting there.
In the early evening. There was another instance where Mr. Depp, the innkeeper, her name is Jenna, and myself were talking about books and music, and Miss Heard came over and kind of interjected. She seemed a little annoyed that Mr. Depp wasn't spending time with her.
What about Miss Heard's demeanor made you think that she was annoyed?
She just interrupted them.
Generally, she it's hard. Like I think. I don't know. It was just like a gut reaction. Like I can't describe it, but you know.
You could have just
How long
said
did
she
you know
interrupted you
Mr.
guys.
Depp and Miss Heard that evening?
Interjected means
Generally.
So throughout
Interject
the course of
means
the
to
evening,
interrupt.
I was probably
It can mean.
mostly with Mr. Depp, but 45 minutes to an hour total. So it was, yeah, that's over the whole course until the end of the night after the check-in.
And did you have an opportunity to observe Mr. Depp interact with other people, guests of the property that evening?
Yes, I saw him hanging out with his security guard at one point, and outside of the time that him and Jenna were sitting around the campfire, he was off by himself a lot of the time, and Miss Heard was over at the campfire. With his
Johnny's
friends,
weird, man.
seemed to have a good time.
He's cool, but he's just like an odd kid.
And if you haven't already, can you generally describe for the jury your observations of Miss Heard that evening?
Mean.
Yeah, she seemed to be having a really nice time with her friends around the campfire, and yeah, everyone was in a pretty good mood.
Did there come a time in the evening that you observed Mr. Depp and Miss Heard have a disagreement or an argument?
Oh, this is what I was looking for.
Yes, I was speaking with Mr. Depp just one-on-one talking about Hicksville, and Miss Heard came over and she said that I want to talk to you and seemed really upset about something. So I went and back in the house because it was really they went off on their own and she started
Yelling?
at it, and I didn't want to hear it. It honestly was really triggering because I've been in an emotionally abusive relationship before.
Objections. Move to strike.
What's the objection?
You're up for me to report.
Okay, sure.
Oh, that's kind of that sucks. That's just the name of the game, you know. Like, it's not really about him, but it's just unfortunate. Poor guy. Look at him. It's like, these motherfuckers, I want some pity too. Why don't you let me talk? I want to tell my story too.
Mr. Knight, will you please just explain for us what you observed when you saw Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard having an argument?
Yes. So Miss Heard asked him to go talk off to the side, and she was upset at him and she was yelling at him, and I personally had been
Objection.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
Freaking lady, she was ready.
What you observed when you saw Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard having an argument.
Okay. He was kind of cowering and seemed almost afraid, and it was really like odd to see because he was older than her, obviously. So, but I just went back in the house because I didn't
Objection.
want.
Move to what he did.
All right, I'll sustain it.
So after you observed the argument,
Dude, what's that lady's
fair
problem?
to say you went back
Just let it.
to your house on set.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
What happened after that?
So when I saw Mr. Depp on my next rounds, he apologized profusely and said, "I'm really sorry about that." She was upset.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Sustain. Next question.
Dude, I want to know what
What
happened.
reaction did Mr. Depp have?
He was just really.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
It's the reaction, it's not the statement.
All right, if you could make that clear.
Yeah, just what type of physical reaction did Mr. Depp have after the argument between Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard?
He honestly, throughout the rest of the night, became a lot more quiet and was just very more petulant. In the beginning of the night, he was a lot more outgoing and extroverted, and throughout, as the course of the night went on, he was less and less so and more quiet.
I wonder what she was complaining
Did you
about.
observe any of the guests consuming alcohol while on property?
I assume they were. I mean, people had cups and there was alcohol set up in the bar trailer, but I didn't physically see them pour alcohol into their cup and kept pouring them out per se.
Did you witness Mr. Depp drink any alcohol that evening?
I couldn't say.
Anything about Mr. Depp's demeanor that made you think he was perhaps intoxicated?
Yes, as the night went on, I am a former bar owner, so even though I wasn't drinking that night, I'm very familiar with the
Behaviors.
signs. So just as the night went on, like I said, he became more and more quiet, but he also, as we would have conversations, his head would kind of sway a little bit back and forth.
Yeah.
Was a little, it was much less sharp than he was earlier in the night.
Did Ms. Heard appear intoxicated to you?
She did. She seemed. I think when she was angry at him, it seemed like she was intoxicated. But that's just based on my experience and my own personal trauma dealing with abuse.
Objection, Your Honor, move to strike.
All right, I'll sustain the objection. I'll strike it from the record. Please disregard that testimony.
Did you observe anyone do or take drugs?
But
I did not.
she took so long to say that.
Did you witness Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard interact other than the argument that you previously described for the jury?
At the end of the night, I heard a commotion. I was inside the house and came out. I couldn't tell what was going on. And Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard were having a discussion about
Drugs.
I'm not sure what, but then they went to their trailer. At that point, a lot of
No.
people had already gone to bed. So it just kind of petered out. Everyone went to bed, including myself, and I didn't hear anything else the rest of the night.
This story,
What time did the evening come to
this
an end?
story underlines with
It
what
was
Amber
from 3 a.m.
said.
Did you ever see Mr. Depp grab anyone? that
Objection
evening?
leading,
Sustained?
Did you ever see Mr. Depp become physical with anyone?
objection leading,
Sustained?
Damn, dude.
Did you ever witness Mr. Depp get angry that evening?
objection leading,
Sustained?
How do you say it?
What, if anything, happened the next morning?
Oh, she just gave up.
The next morning, we have to check out at noon at the time, before COVID. And so around 11 o'clock, one of my innkeepers let me know that there was some damage.
objection, hearsay,
Why don't they let him speak on it?
Did something happen that caused you to go to Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard's trailer?
Yes, I was informed that.
objection, hearsay,
It's not being offered for the truth, Your Honor. May we approach on this
Okay.
topic?
Yeah, this freaking girl, dude. Frick Chipper. I see you looking at her. Bust her fucking ass. So, like, she keeps objecting. So, this is Johnny's part where he does that cavity search on her. Why is she so? What is she defending? That's Amber's good side of the story. It's Johnny's he's messing up. So why did she keep objecting it?
What, if anything, happened the next morning, Mr. Knight?
The innkeepers let me know that there was some damage.
So what the frick are they hiding?
And it happened to be Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard's trailer. So I wanted to inspect the trailer because I was extremely worried. All those trailers that Steve and I worked on were like my babies, and the one they were staying in was the only one that was mostly original and restored 1950s style, and so I was very concerned.
I think I know what trailer you're talking about. It's the one that
So what did you observe when you went to the trailer?
they look like
I observed that
food trucks.
There was a light sconce by the bathroom in the bedroom that had been broken off the wall, and a couple pieces were on the floor. And
I think it's like near
they
Vegas.
were, and yeah, it was basically just broken. The light fixture was hanging on the wall still, and except for the pieces that were on the floor.
Did you come to understand how that happened?
Yeah.
foundation,
Dude.
Foundation, sustained foundation, how you knew?
Did you ask how the sconce was broken?
objection, hearsay,
Sustained.
She's not budging.
How often do light fixtures in the trailers break?
They break pretty often. I mean, it's not like a usual thing, but things in the trailers generally get broken because it's all finished trailers, and I would say as much as every couple weeks there's some incident of damage in one of the trailers. In this case, Mr. Depp told me that.
Freaking destroyed it.
hearsay,
So anyway, yes.
Beyond the light fixture, was anything else in the trailer damaged?
No, everything else looks fine.
That was it.
We have something we call a piggy fee that we address to guests, that if there's anything that you call inconsiderate or
This girl said they broke so much
message,
stuff.
we charge them extra for it for a $25 an hour cleaning fee, but they did not receive one of those because everything outside of light fixture looks fine.
And what was your reaction to seeing the damaged light fixture?
Wow.
To
So
be honest, I was relieved
she
because
lied.
It was not a big deal. I just there was already another light in the room, so I just tucked the wires in the wall until I had a few months later time to buy. It was matching sconce with another one in the room, so I had to on eBay find a matching pair that would fit there. And when I finally got around to it, I was able to get that and charge it to Nathan, who had which credit card I had.
And what was your understanding of who Nathan was?
Cause didn't they like pay all these damages according to
What
her?
did you charge Nathan or Mr. Depp for replacing that pair of light fixtures?
The pair came out to $62.
Shoot, they're lucky though, cause over here if you mess up a freaking
While you were
room
on site
at the
Mr.
beach,
Knight, did you ever wear a mesh?
it's like $300 to freaking $400.
No, I would absolutely never wear that.
At any time during Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard's stay
It's
on the property,
expensive.
did you
Even a
see Mr.
deposit's
Depp
expensive.
become physical with anyone?
I did
Objection,
not.
leading.
I'm sorry, that answer was
I never saw Mr. Depp get physical with anyone when I saw him.
thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's hot, dude. I'll take off my
You
shirt.
are a pretty big fan
I'm
of Johnny
lazy.
Depp, aren't you?
I am not. To be honest, throughout the evening,
Sorry, I just asked you one question.
Oh, I
didn't ask you
apologize.
the rest. You redact. Leaving the umbrella guy in the date. And
I wonder whose job is it to like look up this
what we're
guy's,
looking at
like find his Twitter, find his Facebook, and all that. Like, who does that and digs on them?
4 days
You think it's
after
them?
you tweeted to Umbrella Man, you,
I was umbrella guy.
Umbrella Guy.
Umbrella guy, man.
Well, all right,
Dude.
we have this up. I'm going to ask you to take a look. What is Defendant's Exhibit 1903? Do you see that?
I do.
Okay, and that's from
She never
that
sent me the
Umbrella
freaking
Guy on
thing.
4/21/22, correct?
She said she was gonna
And
post
says
it.
bringing in the Hicksville incident accusations. Do you see that?
I do.
And
But she's working, that's why
Mr. Depp
I have to check.
testifying there, like their video, right?
Okay.
And you
like, just do it
respond, that
fast.
never happened. I was with them all night. Amber was the one acting all jealous and crazy. Do you see that?
I do.
Hell yeah.
Remove the admission of defendant's 1903.
Any objection?
Yeah, Your Honor, we believe the first part of that Umbrella Guy's tweet should be unredacted for context.
I have no idea what I was replying to.
It's hearsay. It's rank hearsay, and context
Your
is
Honor.
not necessary.
Your own approach.
Alright, hold on. Let me check. Is it back?
Up here on the stand and say I'm high functioning, I do things like have hobbies and have interests.
Is it back?
Is
Objection
because I'm not-
non-responsive.
Your Honor, Mr. Depp gave long-winded responses.
Yeah, there was this thing yesterday,
It's
like,
because I found a solution to that pain. I woke up every morning with panic attacks and
dude, I can't stand this girl,
do
man.
something with it.
Like, whatever she's done, whatever, I don't care. But if I were to, like,
I was able to turn the things that I've lived through, my pain, my life experiences, into work, into action, into providing a voice for other people. I'm not a saint. I'm not trying to present myself as one, as you all know, but
Like,
I selfishly found relief.
it just seems a little too
being
pushed.
able to use
Like,
what I've lived
very
through
forced.
to advocate for others.
Hold on, it's freaking hot.
To bring light to these issues, to give a voice to people who don't have the voice and the platform that I have. And while I would not wish this situation on my worst enemy, if it gives a voice to someone who doesn't have it, I now, as I stand here today, can't have a career. I can't even have people associate with me because of the threats and the attacks that they have to endure.
Objection non-responsive.
And I can't do my charity work.
Sustain the objection.
Amber, other than the threats that you described, what other threats have you endured since the death warrant statements were made?
I receive hundreds of death threats regularly, if not daily. Thousands since this trial has started. People mocking
bruh, just,
my testimony,
come on, dude.
making fun of us.
Objection relevance.
Come on, dude. You're trying too hard. It's just cringy, man. Like,
Agonizing. Agonizing. Painful. It was humiliating. Thing I've ever had to go through.
you know what's the sad part about this though? I'll speak after.
I just want you to leave me alone. I just want you to leave me alone.
His face.
For years now, and I thought he would after.
Oh man, that hurts, dude. So, this is what I was gonna say. Through both of this, they still love each other.
What do you hope to reclaim?
That's the sad part. Like, look at his face when she said that. Like, he was destroyed.
Protecting the secret that I did for as long as I did has taken enough of my voice.
Oh.
Johnny has taken enough of my voice.
I said boys.
I have the right
Oh, they got kids?
to tell my story. I have the right to say what happened to me. I have the right to my voice and my name. He took it long enough.
Look at his face, man. He still cares.
I have a right as an American to talk about what happened to me, to own my story and my truth. I have that right. I hope to get my voice back.
She's not even crying, bruh.
It's all I want. And I've said that from day one.
She's not crying.
Thank you, Amber. I don't have anything else.
All right, cross-examination.
She is not crying. She has a crying face, but she's not crying.
Yes, yes.
Anyway, as I was saying, before this actress put on her show, I think the saddest part of this is, if you ever been in a toxic relationship, dude, the love is so strong. Like, look how stupid they were, and look how much they took each other back. You're telling me that's not love? The saddest part about this is that, like, a great love was lost between the two. Like, if you're telling me right now, if you were to go back and look at the videos, just look at his reaction he did earlier. If you see, sometimes, like, they stare at each other during the court. they still have a thing for each other, like, it's something that they shared together, was love. No matter what, no matter whatever bullcrap they put themselves through, their amount of love for each other was freaking astonishing. It's astonishing to the reason being, look at what they did, and they still came back to each other. Like, dude, it takes a lot to stay in a relationship. It takes even more to keep coming back over and over and over, and you know it's not good for you, and you always come back, dude. Come on, you're not you're not stupid. You're in love. That's, yeah, it could be seen as stupid because in other people's eyes it's like, oh, why are you going back to them? Why do you think, you freaking idiot? I know it's obvious. I know we're not right for each other. We it's freaking obvious. Have you ever been in a toxic relationship? You're there asking for advice for something that you already know, that you know what to do already. You just don't want to do it. So you're not stupid. You're just stuck. And you're in love with this person. You love this person so much. You just can't stand to be without them. I think that was the most... that's the sad part between us, because I've been in this toxic type of stuff, and man, like, I can't even believe I still loved her even after all this. I still was like, if I saw her in a street, man, I'd be like, it's stupid. I don't know. It's just that person, that one person. All my other exes, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, hey, what's up? But like, it's just that one girl, and you'd be like, I want it back. It's freaking stupid. Maybe I just don't have knowledge enough for that. I'm pretty sure there's other toxic type of relationships that have different outcomes. Like I've heard some of my friends speak on it, and they're like, dude, I freaking hate that girl. I would never go back to her. But I guess I just never asked, like, deep down, would you get back with them? No, deep down, do you still love them? Not get back with them. Do you still love them? And look at when she said, I just want Johnny to leave me alone. Did you see his face? He did the face that you do when you get crushed. When the girl you love or the person you love says, just leave me alone, and you can't do anything about it, you do this face. You go. He did that. In his head, he said, oh, okay. And then he just stayed staring in the air. He still loves her. And it's nothing bad, it's nothing wrong, it's just something that... It's just something that happens. And it's so stupid. It is. It's silly. And it just sucks that they couldn't patch it up to make it work, because they couldn't live without each other at one point, and now they gotta go off their separate lives, because I'm sure they made it just more and more difficult. Every time they got back with each other, they made it more and more difficult to be together. And it just crashed and burned. It sucks. There's just there's no salvaging it. There's no... I mean, I don't know, maybe. Like I said, I don't have much experience on toxic relationships. I've only had one. But it just sucks, because you really want that girl or guy to be the one for you, and it just doesn't work, and it sucks because you want that one. It's like just imagine the little kid at the store when they want that candy, and the mom is like, no, and they start freaking crying like as an adult when a parent passes away. Like, dude, that's the one for them. Like, that's the one. I don't know. That's what I just thought of this like 3 days ago. It's like, man, they really loved each other, and it just sucks. And losing someone you love, man, sucks. That hurted in there. It hurted. Yeah, that hurts. But you find yourself another one, I guess. I wonder if she's gonna be the one that got away, or for each other. If they're gonna be each other's, the one that got away. Like, even though it didn't work out, but like, I'm pretty sure in the beginning, dude, it was all freaking rainbows and unicorns and roses and kumbaya, right? You don't see what you have locked in you until further into the relationship, or you don't see what you have, what kind of person you are, until they cross you in some way. I'm that way. I'm spiteful. And that's why I try my best when I get in a relationship. I tell them, I was like, please don't do anything wrong to me, because I will hold it to your neck forever. It's just the kind of person I am. And I hate it. Because once they do that to me, I see it as a sign of betrayal. And I just hold it to like the most highest standard. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe she did that to me. And it's, the relationship will never be the same again. It's just because of me. I won't. You betrayed me. And I'm not talking like no little thing like, oh, you left the toilet seat down, and when I sat down, I sat on my wiener. No, I can't believe I said that. No, it's not that, but it's just like, lying to me. That will get you on my bad side real quick, and I will make it a point to do something to get you back in order for me to not feel that way, but I'm still forever going to be spiteful towards you, and it sucks. I hate that, dude. I wish it was never like that. It's a sucky trait. I don't know if you can work on that, but that would be great. Oh, I was like, what is that noise? Hold on, I need to check something. I need to write that down. That was probably like, what, a freaking 5-minute rant? Hold on. I need to write it down. Clip it. Oh, dude, I forgot there's a mosquito in here. I think I just felt him. He freaking bit this whole side already of my arm. You know, your boy just got out of prison. So, I'm pretty sure I was super unhealthy. I'm hot boy cause you not boy cause I stop boy. I forgot how it goes. I don't know what yeah. How do I do Never mind. Dude, have you noticed like all of Amber Heard's friends or whatever, yeah, they're her friends, right? They were all like petty. They all had that crappy attitude. I was like, man, no wonder you guys are friends. I mean, it's your selected crowd, right? Like, you're gonna hang with you vibe the most with. But Jesus, I can't believe. I wonder how toxic they were towards each other. I bet they were that group of friends that would just stand in a corner and just talk crap about everything and everyone. Even that dude, man, the one he looks like Mark Zuckerberg. He looks like a serpent, like a snake. Like when he's like in a camera, he's like this. Like, you stare at him and you're like, Jesus Christ, dude, what is wrong with you? It looks like he's about to like murder you. Yeah, that dude was freaking ready for war. He was just super like snarky. And like the other girl who looked like Sarah Silverman, her too, dude. She was like super just like ready to like. She was on the prowl. Like, she was just ready to fight. And like before the questions were even answered, she was already like it looked like she didn't even want to be there. Like, why'd you even go? I don't even think they're friends anymore. I don't think she's friends with any of them anymore. Like, why'd you even go? But yeah, I remember seeing that. Like, she just kept making faces, and I was like, I was reacting towards it, and I was like, Jesus, like, why are you even there, bruh? Why'd you decide to? You just need a vacation, huh? Like, why? you don't want to be there. But yeah, it's probably just an excuse to get out of work, though. I don't blame them. I would do that too sometimes. You got to do what do you call that thing again? The jury thing. Office jury duty? Yeah, I was gonna say office duty. That's a good way to freaking skip out on work, man. I remember this dude got called like, I think he got called for like, I don't know, he was gone a long time though. I thought it was just one day. Unless you take vacation, and it just so happened.
You just testified that this case has been very hard for you. So let's talk about that and why.
Right.
Your lies have been exposed to the world multiple times, right?
I haven't lied about anything I've been here to say.
You sat here and told the jury that the events in Hicksville started with Mr. Depp getting really upset about a woman leaning on you.
Oh, well, that's
correct?
cool, man.
Yes, that's effectively what happened.
You testified that he actually grabbed that woman's wrist and twisted it.
Oh, here we go.
And told her that he could effectively break her wrist by saying,
You see,
how many pounds of pressure
another
was
her friend did not say that at all.
But your own witness, your former best friend, Rocky Pennington, she didn't corroborate that, did she?
No,
I'm not quite sure what part of that night she saw. There were a lot of people there.
she was right next to you.
She didn't testify that Mr. Depp grabbed anyone's wrist. and
Yeah,
twisted it.
you guys just fought.
I don't know what Rocky saw. There were a lot of people there that night.
You testified that once you brought Mr. Depp back to your trailer,
Dude,
you
she even-
crashed it, correct?
She even said, "Everybody stop what they're doing," and they were looking at us.
Park was furious that Johnny had wrecked the whole thing. Do you remember that testimony?
That's correct.
Well, we heard from that manager of the trailer park, Morgan Knight, on Monday.
That's what I was figuring out.
I'm not quite sure who that guy was or if he had any involvement in this. I know a lot of people have come out of the woodwork to be involved.
So you're accusing Mr. Knight of testifying and committing perjury?
I'm not accusing anyone. I just don't recognize that man.
You heard Mr. Knight testify that it was actually you who was upset with Mr. Depp spending time away from him. Isn't that correct?
How would he know? He wasn't there.
You heard Mr. Knight testify that it was actually you who was yelling at Mr. Depp.
Again, I've heard a lot of people say a lot of things to be involved in the Johnny Depp show, but he wasn't there.
So cringe, dude.
He certainly doesn't know what happened behind closed doors, like most people.
So you're calling Mr. Knight a liar?
I am
Under oath?
saying he wasn't there, and what he testified to doesn't match what I know happened. But I don't fault him. He wasn't there, so how would he know?
He testified he was there, Ms. Heard. Did you hear that?
That's his testimony, yes.
So you're calling him a liar?
I'm just saying he wasn't there.
You heard Mr. Knight testify that the trailer wasn't trashed, and that's why you're calling him a liar.
He testified that a light fixture was broken, similar to the way that
Yes,
Johnny
other than a light
used,
fixture. That was
testified
the
to
only
my
thing that was
closet being
broken, right?
rearranged
Ms. Heard?
and things
Ms.
like
Heard,
that.
the only thing that was broken in the trailer, according to Mr. Knight, was a light fixture. Yes or no?
I realized that he summed it up by saying a light fixture was broken, just the way his security guard summed up him trashing my closet as being rearranged.
Your Honor, I'm going to move to strike everything after he summed it up that it was a light fixture as non-responsive.
She answered the question, right?
In the security guard testimony, Your Honor.
I'll allow it. Go ahead.
Mr. Knight also testified that he charged Mr. Depp only $62 for the damaged light fixture. You heard that, correct?
I did.
In Hicksville, you were the only one that was jealous that Mr. Depp was spending time from other people. Isn't that correct, Ms. Heard?
That is incorrect.
In Hicksville, you were the one who was upset that Mr. Depp wasn't giving you enough attention.
Incorrect again.
Ms. Heard, you told this jury that you had no idea the press was going to be at the courthouse when you got your TRO on May 27th, 2016. Do you remember that testimony?
What's a TRO?
I said I did not have anything to do with it. Yes.
No. My question again. You told this jury that you had no idea that the press was going to be outside after you got the ex parte TRO on May 27th, 2016. Do you remember that testimony?
I apologize. I must have misunderstood Ms. Vasquez. I actually had no idea whether they were going to be there or not. When I walked into the courtroom that day, it was completely quiet, still, empty. Even though I had given Johnny's team notice that I was filing a
Objection,
TRO,
Your Honor, this is not
we had no
responsive.
reason to
Move
believe
to
the
strike.
press knew.
And Your Honor, I would also ask that you instruct the witness to please stop talking once I lodge an objection.
Your Honor, she's trying to answer the question as best she can. Ms. Vasquez is misrepresenting to her what she testified to.
Well, I'll strike the last part as non-responsive. Just, yes, answer the questions asked. Okay, thank you.
Bro, she's been very lenient with her. Everybody
You
has.
testified that you were, quote, shocked when you saw press when you were leaving
Like,
court.
she's been able to write essays, say
You were shocked at all
essays.
of it, were you?
Incorrect. It was
You knew the press
horrifying.
would be at the courthouse, right, Ms. Heard?
No.
Well, you did bring your publicist to the courthouse with you on May 27th, 2016, didn't you?
I sure did. I'm a public figure. I brought my publicist in case it blew up. In case.
You
And
actually
that's
had
what I did.
alerted TMZ that you would be filing a TRO against Mr. Depp that very
No,
day,
I did
didn't
not.
you?
No, I did
The
not.
one day you didn't bother to wear makeup to cover up the mark on your face.
I did not call TMZ or any other news source or paparazzi source. No. I
Well, we
never
heard
did that.
testimony from former TMZ employee Morgan Tremaine yesterday, correct?
Did I hear his testimony?
Yes.
Yes, I was here.
And you heard Mr. Tremaine's testimony that he knew to dispatch the paparazzi to the courthouse on May 27th, right?
I heard him say that he knew that, yes.
Oh,
And
it's
that he
getting
dispatched
juicy,
the
dog.
paparazzi to the courthouse to capture a picture of an alleged bruise on the right side of your face. Do you remember him saying that?
I remember him saying that.
That information must have come from your team, right, Ms. Heard?
Absolutely not. Why would I want that? What actual survivor of domestic violence wants that?
Now, the video of Mr. Depp beating up some kitchen cabinets, you admit that you took that video.
Good
correct?
one, dude.
Yes, I did.
Good
You
one.
acknowledge that the video was released online the day before you were deposed in connection with your divorce from Mr. Depp in August of 2016, right?
I believe it was, yes.
But you testified that you had absolutely nothing to do with the video's release, right?
Absolutely not.
And you testified that you learned about it when you landed after flying into LA. Do you remember that testimony?
Upon touchdown is when I was alerted to the video's
You
existence
heard Mr.
online.
Tremaine testify about this video as well yesterday, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And you heard Mr. Tremaine testify that TMZ received the cabinet video the same day you landed at LAX. Yes?
I don't know if that's what his testimony was. I'm sorry.
You heard Mr. Tremaine testify that the cabinet video was posted 15 minutes.
Just say you don't
after
remember.
TMZ received it. Yes?
That's what I heard him say.
And that this could only have been possible if the video was received directly from the source. Yes?
Dude,
I heard him say that. I don't know. If
I would be
that's
terrible at this because I don't remember a lot of stuff.
Tremaine
true. I
testified.
know that's incorrect. Is what I mean to say.
Another liar on the stand.
I just know that that's incorrect.
And you heard Mr. Tremaine testify that TMZ
Right.
owns the copyright to the cabinet video, right?
That's news to me.
The cabinet video you filmed of your then husband. Yes?
The copyright ownership of that is news to me. I learned that yesterday.
It's the cabinet video that you captured of your then husband. Yes?
That is correct. I did capture that video, and
The
yes,
cabinet
that was
video,
my husband.
the same cabinet video that was released the night before you were deposed in your divorce. Yes?
That's correct.
You must have also heard Mr. Tremaine testify that the version of the cabinet video that TMZ received was incomplete compared to the video the jury saw in this trial. Did you hear that?
The video that you have seen is complete.
Right. But the one TMZ got the day
Incomplete.
before your deposition in the divorce was incomplete.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
He testified that the beginning portion of the video where you set up the camera, that wasn't included
Edited
in the video that
out.
TMZ received.
I don't know what video TMZ
I'm talking
received.
about Mr. Tremaine's testimony, Ms. Heard. Let's just
So you're
focus on
asking me
Mr.
to repeat
Tremaine.
his testimony?
No, I'm asking you if you recall hearing him say those words to this jury.
Yes,
Under
I
oath.
heard his testimony. We all did.
And he testified at the end of the video where you can be seen smirking. I know you testified earlier that you haven't been smirking in this trial, but you sure were caught on camera smirking in that video.
I disagree with that.
Was also not included in the TMZ video.
Everyone can watch that video and you can determine whether you think it's funny to me or not.
That's because the video came from you, right, Ms. Heard?
No, it did not.
You
That
edited
video
out
did
the
not come to
portions.
me. I
Ms.
mean,
Heard,
come from me.
Ms. Heard, you edited out the portions that made you look bad before sending it to TMZ.
We're very wrong about that.
So
if
that
I
only
wanted to
Mr.
leak
Depp
information, I
looked
could have
bad.
done it in a more effective way, a lot sooner and a lot more.
Because
I
you
was
knew
living
exactly how
on
to
a
do that,
mountain
right?
of this evidence. If I wanted to leak it, I could have done a lot more with it.
But you testified earlier in this trial that you didn't know how to leak things.
I
Remember
don't.
that? You edited that video before you gave it to TMZ so that only Mr. Depp would look bad. Yes?
That's absurd.
Right in the middle of your divorce proceedings.
Again, you're very wrong.
I'd like to show you.
Dude, everybody's like,
That's already admitted into
everybody's on
evidence.
edge behind her.
Exhibit 799.
The intensity, man, it's crazy. Look at her sister. She's even getting grilled, and she's not even a part of it. She just has her head down.
This is you at the courthouse on May 27th, 2016, when you got your domestic violence restraining order against Mr. Depp, right?
It is.
And next to you is a woman named Jody Gottlieb, right?
Yes, yes.
Jody Gottlieb is your publicist.
Huh.
And dear friend.
I thought you said gauntlet.
I'd like to show you what's been marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit 1316. This is a picture of you and your friend Rocky Pennington, right?
That is correct.
Where?
Your Honor, I'd like to move to admit this photograph.
It was
Any objection?
it was just a dark screen. Am I blind?
No, Your Honor.
All right, 1316 amendments, we publish the June.
This is a picture of you on May 28th, 2016, right, Ms. Heard?
I don't know when this was taken.
This is the day after you obtained the domestic violence restraining order against Mr. Depp, right?
I have no idea when this.
Damn,
was taken.
Amber.
I did not take it.
Is that you?
Bruise on your face in this picture, is there?
Again, I don't know when this was taken.
Dude,
and
zoom
also
in.
I'm outside. I was obviously wearing makeup. I have no idea when this was taken, so I have no idea if I can
Let's
speak to
refresh your
what
recollection.
bruise you can
Let's
see or
refresh your recollection.
Dude, I don't see anything.
Can you please put Plaintiff's Exhibit 1315 just for the witness?
Bust.
This is an article dated May 30th, 2016, right, Ms. Heard?
That's what it says, yes.
And this article contains the same photograph of you and Ms. Pennington we were just looking at, yes?
Yes, I see them.
And the article is entitled Amber Heard Smiles as She Puts Arm Around Friend One Day After Getting Restraining Order Against Johnny. Is that what the title says?
I know that's what the title says, yes.
Your Honor, I'm going to move to admit and publish the article with everything but the headline and date.
Jesus.
Photo redacted.
Objection, Your Honor. That's inconsistent.
It's too spicy right now. I'm sweating myself. I'm not even part of it.
Look at picture Plaintiff's Exhibit 1317.
So far, so good.
This is also a picture of you and Ms. Pennington on May 28th, 2016, isn't it?
I don't know when this photo was taken, but it looks like the same outing as the picture prior.
Your Honor, I'm going to move to admit and publish Plaintiff's Exhibit 1317.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
I object.
13 evidence?
I don't know why. I just wanted to say
There's
that.
no bruise on your face in this picture either, right?
I disagree. If it is taken when we represent it was taken, then obviously there's a bruise on my face. It's covered by makeup, as per usual.
As who?
Out of that picture.
Per who?
Please. Thanks. That's Josh Drew in this picture, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And Ms. Pennington
That is correct.
in there too?
That
Ms.
is
Pennington
correct.
submitted a sworn statement on your behalf in support of your domestic violence restraining order, didn't she?
I believe she did, yes.
Mr. Drew also submitted a statement in support of your domestic violence restraining order.
I believe they both did, yes.
Ms. Heard, I'd like to show you Defendant's Exhibit 512, which is already in evidence.
What was the point of that?
You've seen this photograph before, right?
I have.
On the second day of your direct testimony, you testified that this was taken in the downstairs of the main apartment on December 15th, 2015. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes, I believe so.
So it's your testimony that Defendant's Exhibit 512 reflects damage to Penthouse 5 that occurred during the December 15th, 2015 incident. Yes?
I'm not quite sure from what incident this is when I see this photo in a vacuum without context.
Let's give you that context. Can we
We can fix that.
have day 16?
Oh, have they done this with Johnny? No, right? want to see how he handles it. Because it's pretty intense. But, like, Johnny's a very slow and, like, methodical person. Like, he's going to think things way through before he even answers. I don't think he'll even...
First to page 4, 5, 5.
I don't think he'll phase him at all. This girl, I understand. She's quick to respond. She reacts too quickly. Johnny's more like, well, what's today? Okay, yeah. Oh, what was the question again?
Specifically starting on line 16, where it says, let's talk about December 15th, 2015.
You said 4585. I'm on 4485. Sorry, you said 4584.
4585. Line 16.
Come on, girl. Hello? Hello? Is that you?
Line 16, where it says, let's talk about December
Morpheus?
15th, 2015. You see that?
Yes.
And then do you see that your testimony about December 15th, 2015 follows?
Let's see. It's just the first one.
Hello, Amber? Hey, are you there? Are you there?
Yes.
Now I'd like you to turn to page 4603. Starting at line 12. 4603.
I wonder how many people still want to date this guy if they know the way he is.
Starting at line 12 and going on to page 4604, line 4.
I mean, I'm pretty sure because who he is, but like how he is,
Okay.
you want to date that?
Do you see that you testify that Defendant's Exhibit 512, which is on the screen,
Yes.
is a picture of the downstairs of the main apartment?
That's correct.
And the main apartment is Penthouse 5 in the Eastern Columbia building, right?
No, depends on the main apartment's penthouse 3 generally when we say main apartment.
Penthouse 5 was where you had your closet?
The downstairs is kind of like had someone.
Dude, that's pretty
living
cool,
upstairs,
man, having, like,
you
that
know,
many
reception
houses.
Area. Upstairs is the closet. Mezzanine.
I'm pretty sure it's annoying though, because you gotta like move everything
So
and
it's your
like
testimony that
if you forget something,
Exhibit 512 reflects damage to the Penthouse 5, that occurred during
you
the
literally
December
have like
15th, 2015 incident.
30
right?
I'm
rooms.
just not sure from which incident this is a picture of, since I'm only looking at
Even
a
though your
partial
counsel
floor.
was asking you questions about December 15th, 2015, and then admitted this picture into evidence
Again, in my
relation to that incident.
Sorry, go ahead.
In relation to that incident on December 15th, 2015. This exhibit, Defendant's Exhibit, you are the defendant, number 512, was admitted into evidence in this court. You testified that this was a result of damage that occurred on December 15th, 2015. Yes or no?
I just need to orient myself because I'm just looking at a picture of a partial
No,
picture of
Ms.
what's
Heard, you
there.
didn't just
So
look
I
at a
can't.
picture. You looked at your testimony.
You pointed me towards the page and then asked me a question. I haven't actually reviewed it. I don't know if this was submitted in relation to that incident.
Let's actually leave out Defendant's 512 and please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 725, which is already in evidence
Thank you.
in redacted form, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
But
Side by side.
she's backtracking so hard.
You've seen this photograph as well, right?
I have.
On the third day of your direct testimony, you testified that this photograph reflected spilled wine in Penthouse 5 on May 21st, 2016, didn't you?
Again,
La, 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 la.
picture of the floor, so unless you remove the metadata you've covered up, we could then tell. If you
I didn't cover it up, Your Honor.
Could we unredact
Your Honor.
them so we could get context? That's how it's in evidence.
That's how it's in evidence.
Next question. Well, the metadata next to it is so that.
Ms. Heard,
to avoid this
Ms.
whole
Heard,
thing.
there is no question pending, and I would appreciate it if you would be making argument to the jury.
Sorry, I
It's
thought
in
you had
evidence.
asked me about it.
No, I didn't ask you about anything. Let's look at your direct testimony from the third day.
Dude, look at her sister's face. Jesus.
Yes, ma'am.
Freaking. I mean, dude, Amber kind of like pulls strings, man. Like, and it's true. Like, they let the girl talk. Freaking essays, poems, and this guy is like, no, I was about to, and he's, Your Honor, he's talking too much.
Sorry.
4750.
Poor guy, man. He could be like, so how was your day today? Your Honor. They should have a thing like afterwards where you can like box them. That would make so much money. All the hostility you have,
And
and
Ms. Bradahoff asked you to describe for the jury what took place on May 21st, 2016.
I see that.
And do you see that your testimony is reflected about May 21, 2015
Yes.
that follows?
Yes.
Now let's turn to page 4804.
man, she's taking so. I think she's just plain stupid at this point.
Line 14.
She does seem legit lost though, but like, come on, dude.
4804.
Like you're fighting something that's already
Starting
been.
at line 14
Yes.
It's already been admitted.
through 4805, line 4.
Going to what line?
Line 4 at 4805.
Oh, my freaking eye
You
hurts.
see that you're testifying that defendant's exhibit 725, which is reflected
I
on
think
the
she's
right
doing
side,
this on purpose.
reflects spilled wine on the floor in penthouse 5.
That's correct.
And defendant's exhibit.
Because now it seems a little
512,
too overdone.
725 seem to be different versions of the same picture, don't they?
That's correct.
So which is it? Which one was taken on December 15th, 2015, or May 21st, 2016?
If you remove the redacted metadata, you can find out. It's right there.
Or if you're telling the truth, you would know.
Recognize a portion of of spilled wine on a floor, and I'm supposed to know off the top of my head when you've
No.
lived through 5 years of this stuff? I don't think so. That's not how that works.
Thank you, Tom. Ms. Hurd, at the beginning of your cross-examination last week,
Yes.
Bro, she's just wasting time, man. Good move. That's just the name of the game. Imagine if time wasn't ever an issue. Things would be so much smoother. But I think things would be too overdone. Oh, dude, what freaking... I have a stupid scab on my elbow and I can't place them anywhere. And I keep hitting it with this freaking thing right here. I wonder what she drinks. She drinks a green one and a pink one. I don't know. I don't know what these people are into. It's probably like
Ladies and gentlemen in the gallery, I would ask that there be no words,
some
no
tea.
phrases, no words, no sounds at all coming from you. If I hear one more sound, I will clear the gallery and we will continue this testimony without anybody in the courtroom. Understood? Good. All right, your next question.
Wait, what happened?
Ms. Hurd, at the beginning of your cross-examination last week, I showed you an audio where you told Mr. Depp to tell the jury, tell the judge, tell the world that he is a victim of domestic abuse.
I need to
Do you
eat.
remember that?
That's correct.
When you testified, you found it hard to believe that Mr. Depp would tell the world that he's a victim of domestic abuse, didn't you?
She's gonna reword it.
I said I find it hard to believe that he would do that knowing that he himself had beat me up for 5 years.
But he has told the world that he's your victim of domestic abuse, hasn't he?
Well, he started to say that only recently. He didn't make that claim up until very recently. So when we signed our divorce agreement and we signed a statement saying that neither party had ever said false claims for financial gain, it was relevant and important to me because I was the only one making the accusations. I was the only one making those claims. He wasn't doing that at the time. And he signed his name to it.
You didn't expect as many people to show up and testify on his behalf that did you?
Incorrect.
When you told this jury under oath that you never assaulted, when you told this jury under oath that you punched Mr. Depp because you thought of Mr. Depp pushing Kate Moss down the stairs. You didn't expect Miss Moss to agree to testify. That never happened, did you?
Incorrect. I know how many people will come out of the woodwork to be in support of Johnny.
So you
It's
think
clear
Miss
by this
Moss
courtroom
needs
how
to
many
come
people
out of
will
the
do that.
woodwork to testify for Mr. Depp?
Everybody who was around in the 90s and the early aughts knew that rumor. I had heard that rumor from multiple people. Of course, that's what flashed through my head when my violent husband not only swung for me, but all of a sudden swung for my sister. Of course I thought of that. I did not expect her to show up or not expect her to show up. It didn't matter. It doesn't change what I believed at the time when we were on the stairs and I thought he was going to kill my sister
Too much.
pushing her down the stairs.
Too much. Too much.
You told this jury under oath that Mr. Depp was aggressive and trashed the trailer in Hicksville. You didn't expect the manager of the Hicksville property, Morgan Knight, to come forward and testify that wasn't true, did you?
Incorrect. I've already been through trials with this man. I know how many people will come out in support of him.
When you
And
told
of
this
the
jury
woodwork?
under oath that you had no idea that the paparazzi would be at the courthouse.
Don't forget
on
the
May
woodwork.
27th, 2016. You didn't expect TMZ employee to show up to testify that TMZ had been alerted that you would be at the courthouse and knew exactly which side of your face to take a picture of, did you?
I know how many people will come out and say whatever.
Of the woodwork.
That's his power. That's why I wrote the op-ed. Is I was speaking to that phenomenon. How many people will come out in support of him and will fall to his power? He is a very powerful man, and people love currying favor with powerful men.
Currying
and I know
favor
that
and
firsthand.
risking
I've lived
jail
it.
time for committing perjury.
Excuse me. I didn't hear your question. Excuse me.
Question.
Ms. Vasquez, if you do mind,
Curry-
please just repeat the question. I didn't hear you.
Curry favor and commit perjury in this courtroom
I have
for
seen
a
people
powerful
do this.
man.
I have seen people do this time and time again. That's why I wrote the op-ed.
You didn't expect Ben King, the house manager in Australia, to show up.
That's so stupid, dude.
Flew from England
Nobody's
to
gonna go to
testify.
jail.
His fingertip was found exactly where he said it would be. Did you?
Nobody's gonna go to jail for some dude.
I've never heard Johnny testify to knowing where his finger was, or really, frankly, making a claim that he knew where it was when it was found. I've never heard Johnny claim that.
You didn't expect
Johnny
Keenan
doesn't-
Wyatt.
Johnny has never
Ms.
actually
Heard.
said that.
Ms. Heard.
And
I think the
Ben
jury,
King, yes.
Ms. Heard, there's no question. You didn't expect Keenan Wyatt, Mr. Depp's longtime sound technician, to show up and testify that Mr. Depp is not being fed lines through his earpieces, but instead music, did you?
Not that it matters much, but of course I did. I know how his employees treat him.
So you
I know how
probably-
his team treats him. Of course I expect
Dude, shut
You
up,
expected
bruh.
Mr. Baruch just to come and testify for Mr. Depp, right?
I'm not sure I thought about that.
But you didn't expect Mr. Baruch to weep for Mr. Depp after what you put him through and so many others with your lives.
I
did you?
relate to Isaac because he and I are
There's
the only
no
ones who
further
have
questions.
cried on this stand. Redirect.
Destroyed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Heard, if Mr. Baruch felt misled, who misled him?
Johnny, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him for crying. This is horrible.
Ms. Vasquez has suggested that you faked bruises on your face. Is that true?
Absolutely not. I didn't need to.
Did you ever fake an injury caused by Mr. Depp?
No.
What?
Any of the evidence of your injuries that has been put to the jury in this trial fake?
What happens if
No,
you lie?
absolutely
Like,
not.
And to the extent that there may be some
Why'd you go to
confusion
jail?
over when a picture of spilled wine was taken, why might that be?
Question,
Is there so
lack of
many-
foundation.
Because there's so many incidents of violence. There's so
Dude, just
there's
answer it,
much
bruh.
violence. Most people don't have this kind of evidence for years. 5 years. And when I was saying that to Johnny on the phone in that recording, I was saying for years this has been going on. And I have pictures, we have texts, we have everything. Normally you don't get this amount of evidence. That's what I was pointing out to Johnny. It would be crazy to try to challenge this in this way. It's crazy. It's easy to not know the context of a picture of spilled wine because there are so many more important details, pictures. And
But
also,
but Johnny has more like solid
much I didn't
evidence.
photograph, so much
This
I
girl just has
didn't
pictures.
Objection, non-responsive.
There's nothing that leads to. There's nothing concrete.
You physically,
Yes.
verbally,
Yes.
emotionally,
Yes.
psychologically.
Yes.
Jesus, girl.
How did the threats that Mr. Depp made against you individually years ago resemble what you've endured as a result of the Depp Waldman statements?
Beyond the scope of cross, Your Honor.
Johnny promised me.
Dude, they're letting that woman talk, dude. That's
He'd
crazy.
ruin my career. He'd take my life from me. Death was the only way out. And if I got out, this is what he'd do to me. He'd make me think of him every single day. He promised me global humiliation. You saw those texts?
And die?
What he couldn't do, the work of one individual, meaning Johnny, when he was inviting a disgruntled employee over for a spot purple to fix my flabby ass up, that revenge that he sought back then was just what he could do as an individual, calling the studio to get me fired, trying to block campus.
Objection, Your Honor. Lack of foundation, speculation, hearsay,
all in
not
evidence.
responsive.
Status not responsive.
Damn.
Ms. Hurt, how did those things that you just testified to that Mr. Depp did, how did those resemble what happened to Mr.
I think the judge is making it spicy now.
Those are
Objection, Your
just-
Honor. Lack of foundation.
She's... Thank you, Your Honor.
Those are just an echo of what I'm living through today. It's like what I'm living in right now. What you see in this courtroom is
Where's my other little...
this courtroom and the other courtroom he dragged me into to do the same thing again.
My little zipper.
That's just an echo.
I think
of
it
the
fell off.
violence and the abuse that I suffered within our relationship.
I can't
Campaigns to have me fired. the
tie up my
opportunities
shorts
to
now.
Ruin my career. The threats he's made to humiliate me globally are being lived out in real time in front of you, ladies and gentlemen, for the past 6 weeks, and for the whole world since our camera's here.
Alright, cool.
No
Next.
further questions. Thank you so much, Amber.
All right, Ms. Hurd, you can have a seat next to your attorney.
That was so boring. That was cool, dude.
If I can have the attorneys approach.
That was whack. Dude, that's so cringy, man. Tripper ass, dog. Don't let her walk past you like that. Oh, my boy trying to cop a feel. It's time. The days are in and you gotta make your move now. She's alright. She's kind of cute. I haven't really paid attention to her. Where's the person that like draws people? Like the scene of the place. Damn, they have way more people in it. I wonder who said something. I wonder if it was for Johnny or the girl. Somebody got hella mad though. I think it was for Amber, cause she was up there. I'm pretty sure they're like, leave her alone. I'm freaking hungry. Alright, come on, hurry up. I wanna. I wanna know what happens. You think it's recess already?
Your Honor, the defendant Amber Heard rests. All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard all the evidence you're going to hear in this matter. What I propose
What does that mean?
doing is to go ahead and give you the rest of the afternoon off so you can have a good restful afternoon and evening, and we will do closing arguments tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., and then the case will be submitted to you for deliberations. Just to give you a little logistics of how that will go, tomorrow I won't give you a time limit as far as how long you can deliberate in the afternoon into the evening. I will tell you, within reason, I will tell you I do not serve dinner, so keep that in mind, okay? You will not be deliberating on Saturday or Sunday or Monday, because Monday is a holiday. I would like you to have you back here Tuesday morning, at least by 9 o'clock. If you want to come earlier, that's up to you. You can decide as a group if you want to come earlier than 9 o'clock, but you have to be here at least by 9 o'clock just to resume your deliberations again. And again on Tuesday night, and if you have to go to Wednesday or Thursday,
that the time that when you take your breaks is up to you, as long as you take them.
I thought it was done on the
together, as far as
27th.
Not having any deliberations unless all of the
Like,
jurors are at the
finalized.
same time. When you take your lunch is up to you, and then again in the evening, within reason, I'll let you go as long as you'd like to go. Okay? So have a good evening, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Bye.
Anybody, don't do any outside research.
It was funny last night because she was like, Johnny was on his stand and she was like, don't break anything on the way out. And he was like, yeah. Okay, so this is over with. Well, I guess today is the final day though, because I thought tomorrow.
We'll take a modified lunch recess just to 12:50. We'll come back at 12:50. We just have a few jury instructions left we have to do. Make sure we get the verdict form taken care of. I want you to review the laptop that we have mocked up and make sure everybody agrees what's on it. And also I want you to look through all your exhibits and make sure we're all on the same page. Before you leave, I'll make sure you have copies of the jury instructions in the order that I can read them, and you should be able to prepare for your closing arguments. Okay? All right, I'll see you at 12:50 then.
Amen. That's not too crazy, I guess. I do need to eat though. Not bad. What's multi? Yeah, both of them. Oh, let me see. 6.9. That's not bad actually. All right. Well, I need to freaking eat. And then, what game can I play?